CBC.
A very good evening to you. I'm Pearson Bowen. There's more good news tonight for the local tourism sector. Sandals Barbados, which is set to open its doors in a few weeks, is already exceeding its target. The resort is reporting strong sales and bookings from January right up until the end of June.
According to Unique Vacations Incorporated, an affiliate of the worldwide representatives of Sandals and Beaches Resorts, Sandals Barbados is outpacing goals, reporting strong sales and high occupancy for the first and second quarters of 2015. In a press release today, Chairman and founder Gordon Butch Stewart says that the official countdown has begun for our newest resort, which will set the new bar for an all-inclusive vacation experience. He confirmed that following the extensive $65 million renovation project, the resort will open as scheduled on January 28th next year. It will feature a full selection of 280 luxury accommodations set within 3 distinct villages, namely Ocean, Crystal Lagoon, and Caribbean villages. They range from opulent beachfront butler suites to new swim-up river suites situated in the resort's lush tropical garden. The release went on to list a series of firsts which will be available only at Sandals Barbados. It also paid tribute to the island, saying that here we have mastered the art of how to truly live, and Sandals Resort is excited to bring the Sandals difference and lifestyle to this Caribbean paradise.
As Shane Seeley there reporting, in light of news that members of the Employment Rights Tribunal have resigned, the National Union of Public Workers is asking for a reinstatement of the workers who were to go before that body. Acting General Secretary Rosalind Smith says she intends to write to the Ministry of Labour about the matter, stressing that the situation puts retrenched workers like those at the NCC at a severe disadvantage.
We were promised by the Prime Minister when we met on that Sunday that we would have had a speedy result from the tribunal, because they would be given the directive to treat to the NCC workers first, because they have some 77 cases before them. Given this recent development, our position would be that the workers should be immediately reinstated, because the promise is too long. The workers are having undue hardship, and it would mean that those workers should be, as I said, reinstated immediately.
As the tourist season moves into high gear, the Ministry of Health has added extra nurses to its complements at both ports of entry. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Joyce St. John tells CBC News it's part of the Ebola preparedness plan to increase surveillance at the Bridgetown port and the Grantley Adams International Airport. She says the ministry continues to carry out a series of simulations testing the systems at one of the polyclinics, the airport, along with other entities.
We would have tested how the private ambulance and the public sector ambulance would have dealt with this case, as well as the coordination between customs, airport immigration, port health. And we were able to utilize and insert for advanced passenger information system as well. So that was good to be able to test that system.
The Chief Medical Officer says the Train the Trainers program are ongoing, with infectious diseases specialist Dr. Corey Ford conducting sessions that also focus on the isolation centre at Enmore.
They've had training actually in PPE in the isolation centre. For the staff who will be working in there as well, because they have to know the flow of how they can walk, because it isn't like an ordinary institution where you walk all over the place. We have clean areas and dirty areas, areas for donning and doffing of PPE, an area for decontamination. So we have been testing all of these things as well.
Dr. St. John says personal protective equipment in larger sizes have been distributed to medical personnel, and they are awaiting a shipment of face shields to complete the package. Chief Executive Officer of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Dexter James, says the institution will continue finding ways to combat the current economic situation, regardless of limited resources.
In spite of the above and the uncertainty and unpredictability of the economic landscape, we will continue to find new opportunities and creative ways to do more with less. In short, we'll continue to build, improve, innovate, transform, fix, and support many aspects of our core operations during the ensuing year.
Dr. James' comments came at the hospital's auditorium, where a service for Christmas was held. Staff from the hospital, as well as the choir of the St. Michael's Cathedral, gathered there to sing songs in celebration of the birth of Jesus. Organizer of the service, the Reverend Noel Burke, says it was to give God thanks for the hard work being done at the hospital.
It is for the benefit of the members of staff, the patients and visitors to the hospital. Lots of tremendous work takes place in the hospital, and this is an opportunity for us to give thanks to God Almighty for the wonderful work that takes place here.
Deloitte Consulting Limited, the judicial manager of Clico International Life Insurance Limited, says it regrets that it has no choice but to follow up on recommendations contained in its August 25, 2014 report to the High Court of Barbados to move towards liquidation. It has therefore filed a new report dated December the 12th. This report was an update to the August 25th report, which included a recommendation to wind up the company by way of liquidation in the absence of funding for the implementation in Barbados of the first phase of a regional restructuring plan for CIL. In a statement, Deloitte said no funding has been made available to date, and consequently, the judicial manager has no alternative but to liquidate the company. More news after this break, but first, we'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you believe the Employment Rights Tribunal is still the best option to resolve industrial dispute cases in Barbados? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. We'll share the results at the end of the news.
You gotta upgrade for Christmas. If you're feeling lucky, you could win some money. And upgrade for Christmas. $200,000 in cash and prizes. With Lime, you could win some money. Upgrade. Lime's Christmas lottery. 250 winners this Christmas. Oh yeah.
Sign up or upgrade to super fast broadband, Lime TV, e-billing, a data plan. Top up $15. Purchase a handset or text 4263 to enter.
Upgrade for Christmas.
It's so important to make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart-to-heart. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. And you will be happy too.
Genève.
It was the most celebrated event of the 2014 season, and we have answered your call. Yes, the 40th anniversary Crop Over Monarchs in Concert is now available as a 2-disc DVD set, featuring hit after hit of outstanding performances from monarchs such as Red Plastic Band, Gabby, Griner, Edwin Yearwood, and the other great kings and queens of Calypso. You have to see it to believe it.
I gotta whip the pie.
Get your copy now from CBC, A&B Sounds, or the NCF for only $55 regular DVD or $75 on Blu-ray. You asked for it, and it's here. The 2014 40th anniversary Crop Over Monarchs in Concert DVD. Get yours early while stocks last.
The Upper House has been debating a range of sweeping changes to the laws governing some of the operations of businesses in Barbados. Leader of Government Business, Senator Maxine McLean, led off debate on the Electronic Filing Bill and Corporate Miscellaneous Provisions Bill. This morning, she said some of the changes were intended to ensure good governance of corporate entities and preserve Barbados' image as a business domicile, among other themes. One of the amendments requires companies to identify changes in directors.
There would be a need for the company to satisfy the regulators that it has met its obligations, and therefore, as the current act exists, that company is in a position now to, what I would say, dissolve a company in a single day perhaps, and therefore that would create some challenges. What is being provided for, Madam President, is a notice of about 4 weeks, 28 days, which would give the entities that opportunity to engage in the making any claims.
Senator McLean says the amendments also address the dissolution of companies.
As companies operate and so on, one of the things that often happens, people pass away, people move on, directors become estranged, or whatever the case may be. Companies grow and expand and want to bring into the business different kinds of skills and competencies, a whole range of reasons why directors would perhaps be changed, rotated, whatever the case may be.
Opposition Senator Wilfred Abrams believes it takes too long to incorporate a company in Barbados.
If everything is there, you've paid the cashier, the documents are stamped, and they're in duplicate, why does somebody need to go away and come back to get it? It should be done immediately. So with the corporate, with the electronic filings, I believe you should be able to incorporate a company entirely online. Entirely. With a credit card payment. The hardest thing about this is to get a name that does not conflict with a name that somebody else has. There's no mystery.
The senator says online payments and transactions are now a must for business.
If you want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning because your client from Japan is calling you or whoever, and they want information, you should be able to pull that down immediately. Everywhere else in the world does it. It is not brain surgery. Why should a human being in this day and age have to rush up to corporate affairs before 3 o'clock? You can't find a park to try to pay a cashier before they close.
Government's commitment to agriculture is evident in the way that it facilitates players in the sector. Housing and Lands Minister Dennis Kelman made the point during debate in the lower house yesterday on a resolution to lease land at Groves Plantation in St. George to the Barbados Agricultural Management Company. He says while the commercial rental rate for the property is over $80,000, government is renting it to the BAMC for just $1,000.
What we are saying, Madam Speaker, Deputy Speaker, what we are saying, that we are going to continue to ensure that we give the necessary support to the Barbados Agricultural Management Company, and this is one of the ways that we will be doing it, by not charging the commercial rent for the lease, because under normal circumstances we would have been charging this company $83,000, but we are only charging them $1,000, and this shows the government's commitment to agriculture.
Other news now, 4 families will now have it easier this Christmas season. That's because Cape Shepherd gave away gift baskets full of goodies to card holders. As a means of returning a favor to the community, credit manager of Cape Shepherd, Chetwin Greenidge, says the main intention was to target those faced with financial challenges.
Part of our mission, our corporate social responsibility, is to give back to our card holders, our community of card holders. So every month we'll have team meetings. So this month, we thought this is the opportune time, Christmas being the time of giving, to give back to our card holders. Every week, our staff would contribute an item in a basket, and then at the end of the entire season, we decide we're going to give it to customers or the ones who are experiencing financial challenges in this present environment.
Well, Mark Alls, one of the winners, expressed joy after receiving the gift basket.
It means a lot to see, well, in the future, I still have to take notice there's actually someone up there who still cares and looks out for you in time of need. And I just can't thank you enough.
Past students, friends and family members bade farewell to former teacher and principal of Industry High School, Sylvia Bushell. During her time in teaching, she was remembered for enforcing strict morals and values to her students. Prime Minister Frendel Stewart, Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite and Senator Harry Husbands attended that funeral service, which was held at St. Martin's Anglican Church. In the eulogy, Captain Lincoln Springer described her as fair-minded.
I can say Miss Sylvie was what champions are made of. You will have had to meet her and attend Industry High School to truly understand. She molded young minds and prepared them with the necessary basic tools of life. Gender, race, or social class did not cloud her mind, for she saw all of us as equals. Success through hard work was not only the school's motto, it was a way of life for this champion of a woman, a sister, a teacher, a principal, an aunt, and a friend.
Meantime, priest Siebert Small says Barbadians should refrain from selfishness and share their God-gifted talent with others.
Use the gifts, the talents that God has given us, not for ourselves only, but for others. And one of the things the tribute also said that she was unselfish, and that is imperative. We must see that God has given us the ability to serve others, and in serving others, we serve Him.
Well, family and friends said farewell to one of the funniest men in Barbados, Mark Fudd Straker, this afternoon at the People's Cathedral. Dale Ford reports.
It was a somber congregation rather than an eager audience waiting in anticipation for the next joke that gathered on a sad occasion to pay its respects to a father, colleague, friend, and comedian, Mark Fudd Straker. Fudd, a former member of the Coast Guard and sound man at the CBC, passed away last month following a short illness. Many would remember Fudd for the many jokes he shared.
He was always a good friend to many and a dear family member to all of us who were family to him. Most of us remember him for the jokes that he would have left with us and the joy that he would bring as he light up a room when he made a joke or two. For those of you who are here for his morning, I'll encourage you not to remember him in this moment for the sadness or sorrow, but for the joy that he brought to all of us. Not for the failures in his life or lack of achievement, but the successes that he made in every endeavor that he had. Also, generally, we would like to remember him for the celebration of his life and what he had done with it and enjoying it to his fullest. Simply put, and lastly I will say, just remember simply as Mark Straker, Fudd.
Certainly many at CBC would recall as Fudd tested his jokes on the staff. Reverend Heather Odo reminded those present that today's service was not for Fudd.
And this evening I want you to reflect on your life. The Bible says that whosoever believes on him, Jesus Christ, shall not perish. It is okay to believe in Jesus. Everybody knows that there's a God. Everybody knows that there's a devil. But we have to go beyond the believing. We have to go to the next step of recognizing that we are sinners, of recognizing that we are hell-bound, and ask the Lord to forgive us. Ask Him to come into our hearts. Ask Him to change our lives around. Sin has its consequences. Death. Not only physical death, but spiritual death. And spiritual death is the worst of them all.
Fudd's body was borne from the cathedral by military personnel. It was interred at the military cemetery. Rest in peace, Fudd. Dale Ford for CBC News.
Regional news next, but first a reminder, we'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you believe the Employment Rights Tribunal is still the best option to resolve industrial dispute cases in Barbados? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. Those results are coming up. You can also follow